So today we're going to do a review of an Underseat woofer. This is the Kuerl KP10APR. It's a 10-inch subwoofer, Underseat subwoofer that can be installed in under the seat of the front seat of the car, and we're going to see and gauge whether or not it is worth the hassle or not. We have a controller, the speaker itself, and we have some RCA cables and power cables, an extra ground wire, and yeah, I think that's basically all. And we also have we also have an installation manual. Wow, the speaker is quite heavy, difficult to do with one hand. So here's the manual. The manual really isn't as detailed for installation purposes as we would like, but it has enough details to do the connections. Yep. It's a two-page manual with the specifications up there and the troubleshooting menu. So let's get on with it. The specifications of the speaker. The RMS power is 200 watts and the maximum output power is 800 watts. The signal to noise ratio is 90 decibels and the frequency response is between 20 Hz to 150 Hz. The highest pass filter is 0 to 12 decibels, and it has a fuse rating of 15 amps and dimensions of 351 by 260 by 80 millimeters. So let's do the install. This is what we have outside the box. This is a 10-inch speaker in an aluminum enclosure. It's basically all metallic. It's a simple design. This is where all the connections go. These are the controls. These are the connections. These are the connections. We have the ground, the remote power, and the 12 volts power inputs, and we have the 15 amp fuse, and then we have the right and the left channel inputs, and then we have the low level and the high level inputs. This is the high level input and the rear left inputs. So we have the remote control port here in the middle, and we have the boost, bass boost, and the gain input. And things first is to see whether or not the speaker will be able to fit under the seat. This is the seat of a Nissan Note E12, but I think if it goes through, it should be able to fit under the seat of any Nissan and hopefully any other car, any other saloon car. So that is the space that is available. If you try and slide it in, yes, you can see the speaker fits in really nicely. This is the 10-inch subwoofer, so if this one can go in, it means even the 8-inch one can go in very easily. So you can see it goes in really nicely. First of all, you need to remove the head unit of the car. So I have already removed mine. Yes, the head unit comes out as a whole of a unit. And then the tools that you will need to do this job include you'll need a set of Torx keys to be able to unscrew the seats. Yes, and you also need a star head screwdriver. They call it a Phillips head screwdriver. You will need a pair of side cutters, a box cutter, electrical tape, and a small screwdriver or a tester. So first and foremost, you will release your head unit. It has 4 screws. I think normally it would have 4 screws that hold the bracket. After removing all the 4 screws, you can lift the bracket from the car's body, and here is where you'll find all the connections, the audio connections from behind the radio. To remove the seat, you have to undo this Torx head screws. We have one here, one over there, and 2 at the front. So I've already done the 2 at the front. I'm currently opening the 2 at the back. For the old Nissan Note, you will need a size 150. No, sorry, T50 to be able to open them up. So yeah. So before you remove the seat, make sure that you look out for any harnesses that are behind or under the seat. This is the seat heating harness and also the passenger detecting harness. So if you're not careful and you pull out the chair, you might damage it. So make sure you remove them before you pull out the chair. I have a big space to work with. I can now be able to install my subwoofer. Before installing the subwoofer, we will do some preliminary connections just to test it to see whether it is working correctly, and then from there on we will install it under the seat on a more permanent basis. So this is the audio harness that we want to connect. Let's get down to it. Aux, to the other end of the harness. It's connected to the audio out of the Android head unit. These are the harnesses. So our red is the right channel and the blue is the left channel. So red is the right, and the blue is the left. Yep, there we have it. Have the two connections made. Okay, the red harness has to be the power cable because you can see it has a protective fuse, so I guess it has to be the 12 volts power rail. So I've used the box cutter to cut off the tip of this cable, and just to be able to strip it off easily. There you have it. Just make sure you do a nice clean and not so long strip, so that when you plug it in at the terminal, it does not leave a long wire outside of the terminal. The termination is very sound. This is the 12 volts positive input. I believe it's very sound, and after putting it in, you fasten these screws for each of the connections. I had to drill some holes through the floor of the car to be able to fix the speaker on the car floor, and not too big holes, but I think the speaker is firm, so it cannot be able to move around when the car is moving. So I think as for the connection and the fixing, it's okay. Put it to the center of the position as far as you can, or as best as you can, because the sliding seats might scratch it if you put it more towards one side, as I had noticed when I placed them initially. The sliding seat was scratching the metal surface of the speaker. So when you're mounting it, try to place it at the centermost position to avoid damaging the speaker or scratching the surface. Manufacturer does not provide the grounding cable. He only provides one cable for the powering. So I thought since the cable was too long, I could cut a little bit of it, because it's I think it's a very good quality cable. So I thought I could cut a little bit of it and to use it as ground, because for ground wire I don't need such a long cable to run all the way to the stereo. For the grounding, I could just pick it from the car's chassis, anywhere on the car's chassis, and it would be fine. So I got a little bit of cable from the main and that's what I will be using for the grounding wire. I've done the wiring. This cable right here is the power cable. These yellow ones are the remote power buttons that I have connected, and this other one goes to ground and the chassis of the car. So the connection is complete. The RCA cables are connected, the red and the blue, and let's see how it goes. So the head unit is on. So let me go to music. So this is what the car sounds like. This is what the car sounds like. So that's what the car sounds like without the subwoofer. So these are the remote cables. I'm supposed to add a button here. So when I connect the woofer, let's hear the difference, okay? That's how it sounds like. Without. That's without the woofer. Now with the woofer, there's that extra kick. This is how I've done the final connection for a better audio output on the subwoofer. Because it has two channels, left and right, you could either buy an RCA splitter cable so that you could get the subwoofer signal straight from the head unit, or you could just use that one signal and buy this unit, this simple connector. It comes in this form, and it goes for 30 shillings only. So you could get such a connector, but instead of using the female to two males, you could buy the male to two females. That would work great. This is the one that I'm using. I've already connected it to the subwoofer instead of the left and right audio output channels. So I believe this would give us a better sound and more control on the subwoofer controls, as opposed to using the right and the left audio out channels. But if you don't have the subwoofer out on your head unit, then you could simply use the right and the left channels. As for the power, this is what I've done. I've located the 12 volts battery line. I think this is it. This is the 12 volt battery line. I've located it and I've tapped into it. So the battery line provides the 12 volts directly to the subwoofer. This one goes directly to the subwoofer. And for the remote power on, I could have looped this one so that the power is always on, but I decided that I could easily forget, since I could easily forget about switching off the subwoofer and it could drain my battery. I connected the remote power line to the ACC line of the car. The accessory line is a line which always has power whenever you turn on the key of the car, and when you switch it off, then the ACC also goes off. So this one is a better choice. This is the ACC line that I've used. You can see it is the accessory line that I'm using to remote power the woofer. So whenever I switch off the car, the subwoofer is automatically powered off, and whenever I switch on the car, the subwoofer is automatically switched on. That is one way of doing it if you do not want to use the switch, the power switch. I believe this one is more autonomous. So my cables have run through inside there, and they're going down there, and I had removed this unit, the whole of this unit, so that the cables could run along inside, and then they could come and exit down there where they go in and get connected to the subwoofer. So I've hidden the cables as far as I can, and I believe they are very well hidden. So that's it for the tutorial, and I'll see you in the next video.